Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. This edition, Parshas Tzav of the Isaacsonian, is dedicated by Hillel Katz, alumnus Hillel Katz and family. L'Refuah Shlema, Ruven Chaim ben Mishket. He should have a Refuah Shlema, Bekarov Mamish. So, it's right before Pesach. We are learning Parshas Tzav. And in Parshas Tzav, Perches, Pasuk Chav Gimel, we have the fourth time that we have a shalsheles, a cantillation that is a shalshelis in the Torah, and there seems to be a common theme in all of the shalshelises. The first shalshelis that you have is when it comes to Lot. Lot is told he's going to have to leave stone, and there is a shalshelis, and the shalshelis represents vacillation, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not sure that I want to do this. Perhaps this is giving something up that is too difficult for me. And Lot was being commanded, basically, save your life, but give up all of your wealth of stone. That was hard. That was a hard thing for Lot, and therefore his vacillation. Eliezer, in Bereshis Perek Dalet, we're told that he's sent to find a wife for Yitzchak, and he vacillates. He's not sure. Rashi tells us, Perek Dalet, Pasuk Lamed Tes, that Eliezer wanted Yitzchak for his own daughter. So there was some hesitation, there was vacillation. I'm going to find a Rivka. What about my future? What about my daughter? Maybe I, the Eved Neman, I'm worthy. So there is vacillation. In Eliezer, a hesitation, a struggle with his Yetzer Hara. Of course, when it comes to Yosef and Eshes Potiphar, this is found in Bereshis Perek Lamed Tes. So she is trying to seduce him. And Vayima'en, Yosef refuses. He definitely refuses. And we praise him for that, Yosef Hatzadik, but it wasn't easy. There was a struggle with Yetzer Hara. Should he, shouldn't he? And therefore that sense of vacillation. Here you find this theme does not necessarily fit. We're told in the process of the Chanukas HaMishkan, in the Miluim period, so Vayakriv ha'ayil hasheni el ha'miluim vayismichu Aaron v'anav esidem al rosh ha'ayil. So Aaron and his sons do shchita. Vayishchat vayikach Moshe midamo, and Moshe is the one who's going to go ahead and do the shchita. And there's a shalshelis on vayishchat. Why? Where's the vacillation? Does this fit that theme? And perhaps the answer is 100% it does, but perhaps a little different in the sense that this was a turning point, a real turning point, perhaps certainly in the career of Aaron HaKohen, but also in the career of Moshe Rabbeinu, because this is where now the obligations of kahuna are shifting to Aaron, shifting from Moshe to Aaron. This is going to be the last act of kahuna that is done by Moshe Rabbeinu. So I wouldn't suggest that Moshe was upset about losing the kahuna. That's not the idea, but any kind of shift, anytime we go ahead and we have to move into, I know for myself, anytime I'm moving into something new, I'm leaving a prior responsibility and taking on new responsibilities, there's anxiety, there's tension, there's uncertainty, like what is that going to mean? So this represents that shift for Moshe Rabbeinu from a world that he knew, okay, this is my role, and now moving into a new role as the manhig of bringing Bnei Yisrael through the Midbar. It's a shift, it's a change. Perhaps the role of Kohen is a much more formal obligation. You know exactly what you have to do. It's all laid out. The role of just manhig, of being a Moshe Rabbeinu, requires a little more, if you will, creativity, a little more figuring things out on one's own, perhaps. And again, perhaps this represents Vayishchat, a nervousness, a anxiety. Again, I'm not talking about Moshe being nervous, but a vacillation, an uncertainty, a what is going to be. That's indeed a theme that's running through all these shalshelos. It's a question of where is the future? Where does my future lie? Lot, nervous about his future. Eliezer, what's going to be with his daughter? About his future. Yosef, his future. Is it going to lie with Knesset Yisrael, with the brothers? What about Eshes Potiphar? And even Chazal says he ultimately will marry her. So the question about his future, Moshe Rabbeinu here as well. That's your shalsheles. And oftentimes we hit these crossroads in our lives. And at least for me, when I hit crossroads in my life, that creates nervousness. It creates uncertainty. That creates that sense of vayishchat. I remember very well in shifting careers, a tremendous sense of nervousness. Is this the right move? In choosing between this area and that area, when you have those forks in the road, those are challenging moments. And that's perhaps the theme that is in